This is the DJI Mini 4 Pro. I wanted to share some thoughts with you after flying it for a week and tell you an honest, unbiased view from someone who's upgraded from the Mini 2 on what I actually think about this drone. So I'm not going through an unboxing today, but I did want to talk about what I actually purchased. And I purchased the Fly More combo, which gives you the battery pack, the 3 batteries, RCN2, which I'll talk about in the next part of this video and give you some honest thoughts about it, and obviously the drone. And you can buy it with the old RC or just the drone itself. So there are some options out there. I went with the Fly More combo with the 3 batteries, which is kind of the mid-tier. And it was priced at $16.99 Australian dollars. It's roughly about $1,000 US. So it's not cheap, it is an investment. And I do a bunch of different things with this drone, which I will hopefully earn back some of that investment. However, after flying it for the last week, I think my mind is completely solidified for the fact that I have no regrets in purchasing this drone. Even though that price point is not something that's super affordable, I look at it like a camera. And you know, the camera enthusiasts out there will know how much a good camera costs you. So let's talk a little bit about the design of this drone. And something that I do want to take note of is that it obviously looks very similar to the Mini 3 Pro. Obviously the sensors up the top here give it a funny look. You know, I can't really complain about the look of this drone. At the end of the day, I'm not really worried about what it looks like. I'm worried about what kind of video and what kind of performance it has for the stuff that I'm trying to create for my channel. You might be a little bit different, but everyone's has a right to their opinion and what they think about the design of it. And obviously the battery pack is a lot easier to access at the back here. Very similar to the Mini 3 Pro. There were some people that were asking in the comment section if the Mini 3 Pro batteries are compatible with this. There are some great videos on this. I'm not going to touch on it too much, but in short, they are. From what I've heard, those batteries actually put your drone over the 249 gram limit. So if you're someone that flies in the excluded category like me, that might not be an option for you. So just be aware of that if you do want to upgrade to this drone at some point. You've obviously got the SD card slots at the back here, and then a charging port like any of the drones DJI has released. I do like the look of the drone overall. It reminds me a little bit of the Air 3, and even the performance of this drone and some of the things that it can do and the features that have been included in this, I think does have a lot of the Air 3 flavor to it for me personally. Let me know in the comments if you guys see that yourself. But you can see the downward sensors at the bottom here. Sensors obviously contribute to the 360 obstacle avoidance, which is something this drone is known for and is the first mini drone that's ever been released with that type of feature. Let's talk a little bit about performance, something that I wanted to talk about, and a couple of questions that have been asked already in the comment section by you guys is what's it like in the wind and what the battery life is like. And battery life obviously varies from user to user, and the reason for that is obviously the modes you fly in, you know, what kind of conditions you're flying in, and what kind of video you're trying to capture. Those are generally the 3 things that impact the performance of your batteries. I generally fly in cine mode, which is the slowest mode for anyone that is not familiar with DJI's drones. And basically what that does is it allows the drone to operate at super slow speeds to enable you to get smoother looking content. And it's something that I generally like to fly in. The only time that I'll use sports mode or even normal mode is if the wind is really, really bad and I need to get the drone fighting upwind back towards me, or I'm running away from birds, which has happened quite a lot. In terms of battery performance, I'm generally seeing about 31 to 32 minutes, which is pretty good. This battery life is supposed to last about 34 minutes based on the spec sheet that DJI released. So I'm seeing pretty close to that, and I think that a lot of us will have some, 4 or 5 minute variances there, because again, it comes down to how you're flying this drone, how hard you're pushing it. But I'm generally seeing about 32 minutes, which I'm pretty cool with. The other thing is wind resistance. Obviously this comes with a level 5 wind resistance like any of the mini drones. And for anyone that is wondering if the wind resistance is any better than something like the 2 or the Mini 3 Pro, I actually saw this wobble a lot more than the Mini 2 did. And that's the honest opinion in that. However, I will say this, that it does actually work and maneuver through the windy conditions better than the Mini 2. The Mini 2 would generally struggle a little bit in terms of getting back to me. This does wobble a bit more, but it does deal better with headwinds and windy conditions in general. And I noticed that the gimbal, even though it was super windy in some of these images that I'm showing you here, the gimbal did a pretty good job of keeping the image stable and the camera stable. So I'm not really going to give this a better score than the Mini 2. I think it's just deals with it differently and still perform pretty well. So let's talk about the DJI RC N2 a little bit. And you can hear it sort of firing up. I'll put it up against the mic here. It is pretty cool. The screen's really bright, and if you're someone that has kind of not enjoyed the RCN1 or the original DJI remote, which is the remote that I flew with where you had to sort of attach your phone onto the top, I'm glad those days are over for me, because I know a lot of people say, well, the remote's not bad and why are people making so much noise about it? I don't get why people have to constantly tell you what's right. It's an option, it's a personal choice, and if you want a controller that doesn't attach your phone to it, go and grab this, because I have absolutely loved the fact that everything that I need for this drone is all on here. Now you obviously have your joysticks at the back here. You can see that if you can actually just unscrew them and screw them in. Oh, don't want to be recording stuff right now. And to the left here, that's the gimbal, and then I've got the digital zoom on the right here, which is really cool. I haven't used that feature just yet. On the left here, you got the video mode, and then on the right, you got the photo mode. On the back, there are some programmable little buttons, C1 and C2, and then you got your joystick pads up here, which allows you to go from cinematic, sport, or normal, and then your on and off, as well as your return to home buttons just on the screen right there. Overall, what I did notice after flying this for roughly about a week after getting it now is that it's definitely, I guess, not as twitchy as the Mini 2 was. I love the fact that I can carry this anywhere, I can fire it up in less than 30 seconds. The one thing that stood out to me was the footage that I was capturing and the photos that I was capturing were way better than I expected it to be. The thing that I would like to do is some low light footage tests and some photos. That is a big part of why I bought this drone. As some of you may know that watch my channel, I do love a good sunset. Selling some of my photography as prints is something that I'm aiming to do, as well as my drone business, which I'm still working on and hopeful of being able to generate some income from owning it and flying a drone. From going from the Mini 2 to the Mini 4 Pro and having a lot more of that obstacle avoidance features, the different shooting modes, and also just that smoother flight experience, which is something that is slightly noticeable when you've been flying the Mini 2 for so long. There are so many of you that love the Mini 2, and I still do. I will always have a soft spot for it, and I still will continue to fly it because it is a fantastic drone. What it does feel like to fly this versus the Mini 2, there isn't a distinct difference, but you got to remember it's been 18 months, maybe 2 years or more since the Mini 2 was released. The Mini 2 will continue to have a place in our community as drone enthusiasts and drone cinematographers. It's not something that needs to go away, because I think it just depends on what you're making content for and what kind of drone you actually need to be able to achieve some of that. When I think about if I was to upgrade to this, I had specific reasons why I wanted to go to this drone. I knew I wanted a better low light performing drone. I didn't want to upgrade to the Mini 3 Pro because it was too close since I bought the Mini 2. And then I wanted something that was going to be able to shoot in vertical but had the 360 obstacle avoidance, because that would really unlock the active track feature. Overall, my experience with this drone has been an A+. I have absolutely loved my purchase with this. If you haven't already checked out the video that I made with my first flight, I'll link it for you somewhere up on this video. Definitely go and have a look at that, because you will see the quality of video that this drone can create. And I was able to capture some amazing footage of a coastline here in Melbourne. But I have not regretted this. If you are considering upgrading to this drone, maybe ask yourself some questions before you go ahead and do that. What am I going to be using this drone for? And am I just getting caught up in the fanfare? And if you're someone that owns a Mini 3 Pro, I genuinely can't see too much value this drone is going to give you, apart from the obstacle avoidance. Really benefits a lot of Mini 2 owners if you are considering upgrading. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.